I hope everyone's doing. I'm so excited. So excited. Let me share my screen so we can get started. Let me make sure I have the chat pulled up so I can let people in as they come. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How's everybody's weekend starting? Mine's is going amazing so far. No complaints. I'm excited that you're here. If you're here, then I'm assuming that your weekend is starting off with a bang too. Especially if you're here because you're starting off to go into Q4. We're already in Q4, but we're about to take it to a whole nother level. So, okay. Oh, here we go. So I'm gonna get started. We'll let everyone in as they join. But today is day one of our 2-day live training. I'm so excited to have each of you. Now, inside of this training, I am going to be asking you for your participation, right? We are showing up as the highest version of ourselves, right? So if you're on this training, you're not a fly on the wall. You're not one of those people, you go first, you pioneer, you lead. That's why you're a business owner, right? So we're going to participate in the chat. We are going to show up when we have aha moments. We're going to show up when I'm asking you to engage. You're going to engage because the energy that you put out is the energy that you get, right? Okay. So day one, let me minimize. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me minimize this. All right. So day one of the 2-day live training, it's not over. In this training, we're going to be discussing rising above the noise and leading with power and owning Q4. Now, this is just not a training, right? We're about to open up a dialogue, and that's why I gave you that disclaimer, like you're going to be participating in this because this is a dialogue surrounding something that too many of us try to avoid, right? So day one, we're getting it out of the way. Day two, we're talking all about strategy and what we need to implement so that we can blow up our Q4 and end this year with a bang and go into next year with a crazy amount of momentum. So before we get started, though, I do want to start off discussing what led to me doing this training, right? Because there were a few things that happened that led to me wanting to do this training, God putting it on my heart to do and to do now. So the first thing that happened is I was doing a boot camp. I was ending the boot camp, and it was the last call. This was Thursday evening. I was ending the call, the last call for the boot camp, and during that call. Gentlemen. During that call, we were talking about the power of continuing on despite the end of a chapter, right? How many of you are ending a chapter in your life right now? Whether it's you're coming out of a storm, maybe you're in the midst of a storm, maybe you have, you're switching from being in a relationship to out of a relationship, or starting a new business venture or whatever it is, how many of you are in that? And I wanted them to know just because this chapter ended, it's not the end of your adventure. It's not the end of your business. This is just the beginning. And so I had them tell me what their plans were going into Q4 and that we're going to catapult them into another level in the beginning of 2025. And I'm just looking at the chat. I see you guys like, yeah, me, I'm ending a chapter, going into something new. It happens throughout the year, right? It's not like a certain quarter, it's continuous. We're always ending chapters and walking into new ones. And so it's a revolving thing. But what I do see, Q4 is where most entrepreneurs, they slow down. They slow down, they write off the business, they start telling themselves that, it's holiday season, or, we're going to spend time with family. We'll pick back up in at the beginning of the year. They're already planning for January. But my community, my clients, me, we're ramping up. Like we're ramping up. And I was like, I have to tell as many people as possible this information. I have to give them these strategies so they can ramp up too. because I don't want you guys to get left behind. I don't want, there's too many things that we can achieve in this short amount of time. And I don't want you guys to get left behind. So Friday morning, after I had that conversation with them, I sat there and I was reflecting. God would not let this leave my mind. I was just like, okay, like the call's over. Like that was last night. And I sat there and I realized like this message was meant for more than just that group of individuals, more than that group of ladies in that boot camp. And that is what led to this. So I made a decision Friday morning, literally, to have this 2 day live training this weekend for you guys. And I'm excited that you guys showed up because just like it was last minute for me, it was last minute for you. So that tells me the level of commitment that you have just to your business and stepping into the next level. Now, the other thing is that I couldn't leave you guys alone because when one boat rises, we all rise, right? So it does me a disservice. You have a whole community of people that are waiting for you to rise to the occasion to get to the next level so that they can get to their next level. Like there's so many people attached to you and your destiny and your vision. So we all have to rise together. So this is what we're going to do today. Day one. Let me just minimize that so I can actually see the screen. So day one, we are going to be talking about the problem in your business, right? We're going to identify the problem in your business. We all share this common problem. I don't care where you're at in your business, whether you're having like massive success or, you're not really where you want to be. It doesn't matter. We all have the same exact problem in our business, and it's an ongoing problem that we have to work on. The second thing we're going to talk about is um, we're going to talk about, even when it feels like the year is ending, how to create breakthroughs. Even when we feel like we're in the midst of a storm, how to create breakthroughs, how to continue to show up for ourselves, how to fly despite the storm, and why leading and soaring at eagle level, right up here, while doing that is easier and more powerful than being on ground level and dealing with the pigeons. So if you're here, I have already made some assumptions about you, right? And I want you to put a one in the chat if these are true. If you're like, yep, those resonate with me, those are absolutely true. I want you to put a one in the chat. If you're like, you know what, I'm claiming it now. It's not me right now, but it's about to be after this, then I want you to put a one in the chat. So if you're a leader, right? You're a leader, you know it in your bones, you've been through it, you never needed someone to tell you or to, give you that confirmation. You already knew that I was meant here to be here to lead. I was meant here to own a business. I was meant here to, provide for others. And it's not just about making money, right? You know that you have massive goals. You have massive goals way beyond making money. Money is just a tool that's going to get you to the next level, but you have way bigger goals. You're meant to be a force in this world. Like your name is meant to live on for generations and generations, right? And then when you hear these, every time one resonates, I want you to put a one in the chat. So the other thing is you probably already built a business, right? You have a business, you found some success, but maybe it's still not at the level you desire. Maybe you don't have the freedom that you want, but you have the money. Maybe you haven't hit the money side of it, but you have the freedom because you're not in a 9 to 5 anymore. Or maybe you're just like, I'm just kind of getting it off the ground level and I'm ready to launch. And you're trying to get to that next level where you're bringing in some income into your business. The other thing is that if you're here, I've already assumed that you know deep down inside. Now this is the big one. This one I want you to put a two in the chat. Like put a two in the chat. You know deep down inside you're not where you want to be because of you. If you know deep down inside, I'm not where I want to be. Yes, circumstances came up, but at the end of the day, I didn't really give 110%. Maybe I showed up at like 80%. Maybe I showed up at like 75%, but I didn't give 110%. I want you to put a two in the chat because today is where we become self-aware. And let me look at the chat to see who has a two. Okay. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it being honest, right? Because this is about self-awareness. This is how we really get to the next level. These are conversations people don't want to have. They just want to talk strategy, strategy, strategy. And that's great and that is needed, but it's not the only thing. The first thing we need is we need to become self-aware. Once we become self-aware and we take responsibility, that is where the magic happens. So right now, I want you to decide, acknowledge, and take full responsibility for why you haven't reached your next level. Because here's the truth. You are the problem. We are the problem, but we're also the solution. So it's not just about identifying that you're the problem. It's about saying, yes, I'm the problem, but I also know I'm the solution. So if you put a 2 in the chat and you're like, yeah, I know I'm the problem, then I want you to put a 1 in the chat because you also know you're the solution. You know, like right now in this moment that you're claiming that you're about to become the solution, that you're about to do the work to access the next level. Like, yeah, I know I didn't show up how I needed to, but that time is over. I'm not even about to dwell on that. Right? Great. I love it. So now that we've identified that you are where you need to be, and I'm talking to the right group of individuals, and even if you are watching the recording of this, I still want you to still think about this, but um, we focus so much on strategy, and we're going to talk about strategy tomorrow, but strategy means nothing without mindset. How many of you know the blueprint? You open the business, you know exactly what you want to do, but there are things internally that are stopping you. Like you have fears that are stopping you, right? You have things that you are thinking about that you're like, I know it's me. Like I know I should be more consistent. I know I should be posting. I know I should be doing these things, but but it's me, right? There's something that like there's this friction that I'm trying to overcome to get to the next level. So knowledge and strategy is, and make sure we let them in. So knowledge and strategy is only potential power. How many of you have heard the phrase knowledge is power? Like put a 1 in the chat if you've heard the phrase knowledge is power. What I believe is knowledge is not power. It is potential power, right? We know a lot of people that are very, very smart. We know a lot of people that are smart. In fact, we know people that are very, very smart, and we're just like, if they would do what they know how to do, if they use their brain for good, they would be multimillionaires. I say that all the time about people. But like, put your hand up in the chat, like, put that emoji with like the hand. If you know someone who's like super smart, you're like, if they would just apply the knowledge, maybe it's yourself. There was a time for me, it was me. I had to have a conversation with me, like, if you would just apply this, you would be so much you will be so much further in life, right? So knowledge is just potential power. Knowledge plus the application of that knowledge is the true power. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. Once we understand the knowledge, we understand the responsibility, the acknowledgement, then we're going to be able to really make power moves. That's where the first major shift is. So from this point on, we're taking full ownership of our results. We're looking at where we don't show up in our business, and we're making a conscious decision to change that starting today. If you're here starting today, right now, we're making conscious. We don't need, a lot of people feel like you need years to transform into another version. You just have to decide. You just literally have to claim it and say, you know what? Today is the day, right? Imagine your sink is leaking and you call a plumber and they say, this is leaking. This is why it's already, your kitchen's already filled with water. You're going to be like, not today. I'll wait. Or you're going to tell them to fix it. You're going to tell them to fix it. So today we're identifying that we are the problem. We are the leaking pipe and we're fixing it today, like right now. So there was a quote that my coach said recently. And it's actually a quote I shared on that call that I spoke about earlier. And it is a bird, and she said it a little bit different, but I had to Google it. I'm like, well, who really said this quote? But the quote says, a bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch, but in her own wings. This was powerful for me. Like this is probably gonna be a quote that like lives rent free in my head forever because the bird knows that some branches will break, some will bend, and some are strong enough to withstand the storm. And the branches, it's just a metaphor, right? For storms, for tests, for challenges. But we know that the bird knows that I can fly no matter what. If this branch breaks, I am going to fly. I'm not dependent upon the branch. I'm not using the branch to hold me up. I'm just resting. If it broke right now, I know how to fly away. Right. So I want to give you an example, and I want you to think about in your life where branches have been breaking recently, right? It could have been recently, it could have been months ago, it could have been just this year in general. I want you to think about where the branches in your life have been breaking, right? So last month, September 2024, I was planning to attend my coach's event, Freedom Queen Live. 2 weeks before that, I flew from Thailand to the US. 2 days after arriving, I found out I was receiving an award. So I was super excited. But life started throwing me storm after storm after storm. I'm talking about the branches, they just kept breaking up under me. I was just like, what is this? What is going on? I was such on a high. And sometimes when we're on a high, we forget that there's a valley, right? We forget during it, and put it in a chat if you sometimes forget, like, okay, sometimes you're like way up here, but you forget that you have to go to the valley to get to the next peak. And so I felt like I was being tested at every turn. And I wanted to throw in the towel at some point. And I had people like telling me, yeah, you should throw in the towel. You should just forget about it. It's not meant to be. But I didn't. The first thing that happened, the first branch was there was a family dispute. How many people know that? Like, how many of y'all say sometimes I stay away from my family just because they're so big, and I'm just like, it's so many people, and I'm like, there's always something going on. Like, there's always chaos. And like, so the first thing that happened was there was a family dispute, but there was a dispute that like rocked me to my core. How many of you have gone through a challenge, a storm, a test that like rocks you to your core and you're like, I don't even know how to deal with this or how to recover it. Like I need a mental break. Like immediately I need to kind of disappear. Has that happened to you guys before? Like where you just are like, and it might have just been where you disappeared and it was just in your room. Where you was like, I'm turning my phone on silent and not talking to nobody for a couple of days. Like I need to decompress. Yeah, that's why I was like, what the heck? And I hadn't seen my family in like this particular side in like 4 years, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be like a high. I moved to Thailand and didn't even get to see them. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go see them. I thought it was gonna be like a high. Yeah. It rocked me so bad that I booked a flight. I had just traveled 30 hours. I was in the city for 4 days. I booked a flight and went to Bali. That's how much it rocked me. I was like, I just can't. Like, I just cannot. Like, I have to leave America. Like, I was like, I have to go. Like, I have to go. So then I stayed in Bali. While I was in Bali, people were like, oh, it's not meant to be. You should just, cancel everything, forget about the conference. And I'm like, no, the devil's a lie. There's something going on in this conference. There's something going on in this atmosphere. And I'm being awarded. Last thing I'm going to do is miss my chance to get an award at an international conference with 500 women. Yeah, right. So I booked new dates. I was like, forget that, skip you guys. This is why I haven't seen you in 4 years. Booked new flight dates for the conference, came back 3 days before the conference to Atlanta. It's like I'm gonna pick up my daughter, had clients flying in that were meeting me for master classes during the event. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna make a road trip out of it. Well, another branch broke. Do you know how like sometimes a challenge happens and then it's just the beginning? Like you can see the dominoes about to fall. Like you're like this is about to be a chain of events. Like sometimes when you're like, oh my God, like you're like for better words. And so another storm came. It was more chaos. And this time it led to me having to end a relationship with a long-term friend. This is a friend that I've known for like 10 years, maybe longer, 15 years actually. And they were actually coming to the event. And I was just like, what is going on, Lord? And something else happened and I had to cut off another family member. I was like, okay, what is going on? Why am I shedding so many people right now? And what I had to reflect on is sometimes when we're in a storm, when we're in a test, there's a level of cleansing. How many of you have been in a test, a storm, a challenge, and it seems like God is separating you from everyone? There's a level of cleansing that happens. And you end up having to shed people, you end up having to shed habits, mindsets, like you turn into a whole nother version. Like God is like, I told you that you should. This is how I felt like he was talking to me. I told you that you should have got rid of these people already, that they were not attached to the next level. And since you didn't do it on your own, I'm going to let this circumstance happen, this storm come, and you're going to be forced to deal with it now. And that process is always painful. It's not an easy process to do, right? But I was like, okay, another branch is breaking. I still had my vision though, like, okay, I came here for a reason. I'm like, my emotions are all over the place. But at the same time, right, we're business owners. So at the same time, we have a personal life, but we also have the business life. We have a business to navigate. And so even while I was navigating the storm after storm, the branches breaking, I continued to show up for myself, right? I launched a new offer. While I was dealing with the chaos, I was like, I'm still going to launch this offer. I made $7,000 from that one offer during these couple of weeks of the storm, right? $7,000 extra into my income just because I continued to show up for myself, just because I continued to post on social media, just because I just continued to sell my offers to the people that needed them the most. So I'm wondering for you, where do you feel like, right? And you don't have to put in the chat. If you want to put in the chat, great, because someone else probably is feeling the same way too. But where are you feeling like, I'm not showing up for myself? Like, yes, all these circumstances are happening, but I'm not showing up for myself, right? So when I was doing research just about eagles, after I found that quote, my coach said that quote, I started doing research about eagles. And I was like, eagles, I found out eagles fly despite the storm, right? At this point, you're an eagle, okay? You are an eagle. Eagles fly despite the storm. And if you weren't flying despite the storm previously, after today, you're going to continue to do so, no matter what the storm is. And what's so funny is eagles, they don't just fly, they take advantage of the storm. When they see a storm brewing, they get up and take flight because they want to take advantage of the wind and the storm currents to glide and rise higher. So while all the other birds are sitting trying to get shelter, the eagles are like, yes, like this is about to get me miles and miles ahead of people because I'm about to take advantage of the currents and the wind. See, and I love the honesty in the chat. Most areas of my life, I've been showing up for others, but not showing up for me. And it does no one a service for you not to show up for yourself. They're depending on you anyway. So we have to show up for ourselves, right? So I was going through the storm, y'all, and then guess what happened? An actual hurricane hit. I'm like, you can't make this up. I was like, Lord, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta laugh. I was just laugh. I was like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. I was like, I just did all of this to come back to America to deal with more chaos, deal with more, like shedding of people, it, and then a hurricane hits. And what was so dramatic for me is because now I still have the business to run. I still have coaching calls, but now I have to deal with the Airbnb and figuring that stuff out. I have to clients that are now some of them stranded in cities because of the hurricane. So I'm helping them with their travel itinerary. I also had plans to like launch certain trainings and communities during the conference. I had photo shoots set up, video shoots set up. I had like clothes shipped in. I'm like, okay, Lord, what is next? But guess what I decided to do? I still decided to fly despite the storm. I not only continue to serve my clients and show up every coaching call, but I launched the community. She became her, where I help women entrepreneurs go from having a profitable business or creating a profitable business to a brand, to a movement, to a seven-figure empire. I had individuals sign up immediately. We have our 60-day challenge starting on Monday. All of this was despite the storm. I was like, you know what? Forget that. We still have stuff to do. Everyone else was like, go home, forget about the conference, you know, delay the launch, do this. And I was like, no, I'm going to just push through. I pivoted, I adapted, I launched a new community. I chose to trust my wings, right? Sometimes we have to choose to trust our wings and use it to our advantage. And you also have to have the courage to go through it when everyone else thinks you're crazy. How many of you were trying to start something or started something or you're doing it right now and everyone around you is like, you're crazy, you should throw in the towel, you should stop doing, like they're offering you all of the opinions except for the one that you actually want. It's like you're not saying anything positive. You're not helping me. Like this doesn't help my agenda. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? That's what was happening to me. So now I want us to talk about where are we not showing up? Like that's the question I have for you. Where are you not showing up for yourself right now? And I want you to be very specific when you're thinking about this. Be very, very specific. Where are you not showing up for yourself right now in your business? You know that the business that you started, the venture that you started, the adventure that you are on is going to be the vehicle to get you to the lifestyle that you want, to get the impact that you want in this world. So where are you not showing up for yourself? Are you avoiding launching the business? Right? Are you avoiding going live because of fear? Are you holding back on selling your offer because you were worried no one would buy, not launching the business? See, are we being, maybe you launch, are you being inconsistent with posting because it's too much right now, right? Life is too much right now. I've been there. I just gave you an example of it. Like it just happened, right? I'm still in the thick of it. I'm still in America. And I'm like, they just released the new dates. And I'm like, do you think I want to go home and come back? I don't know if I want to stay here and wait. I'm traumatized. Saying not launching my business, not launching my business and being consistent. Okay. I love this. I love that we're being honest and we're talking about it. So let me tell you guys something. The storm, the challenge, the test, because right now the test that you guys are going through, that you guys put in the chat right now is launching the business. And you have other things that are going on. The reason why you're stalling, right? But the storms are meant for you to grow strong. There's a strength that you get from walking out that fear, from pushing forward. There's a level of strength that you get. There's a level of power that you tap into. I'm inconsistent with posting. I'm currently a faceless brand, but the most called me to show my face and I'm scared. Yeah, see, the fears, right? And this is where the mindset comes in. You see why we know the strategy. We know we need to launch the business. We know we need to leverage social media. We know we need to be consistent. We know we need to post. That doesn't help us when it comes to the fear of actually doing it. And this is why I say mindset without mindset and strategy. You know, if you don't have both, it doesn't go anywhere. You can't just have strategy. And that's why we're having this conversation today. Because I want us to get clear about what we are fearful on and where we are not showing up. So now that you have that, and we're going to dive deeper into, you're going to dive deeper into it today. And then we're going to show up tomorrow and talk about strategy. But I want to tell you this, I could have just waited out and paused everything as I was dealing with the chaos. Right now, you guys are waiting. You're pausing, right? You're waiting. You're waiting for clear skies. I was in the thick of it. I was like, I'm gonna host client calls from the airport. I crafted content from hotel rooms and resort rooms. And I did listen, I led team calls from different time zones. I couldn't tell what day I was on, what time zone I was on, because I know I needed to show up throughout the storm. The storm, how I showed up in the storm dictated how I would soar during clear skies. So here's the question for you now. Where are you choosing to wait for the storm to pass instead of spreading your wings and flying through it? Where is it that you're like, I think I need to wait. I think I need to wait. The coast isn't clear. I need to wait for these things to line up before I do it, right? We're always waiting for the perfect timing. We're always waiting for clear skies. I want you guys right now to decide that you're going to do it anyway because you know deep down inside, one, you are meant to do it, two, you're powerful, but three, you can fly. Like I want you to trust your wings. Like you're going to be fine. And you know what? Most people, the fear of failure is most people do not fly because they fear failure. Because they're like, well, if I fly this high, I might fall. And I'm gonna fall so far down, right? They're looking at that. Look, if I fly this high, I'm gonna fall all the way down here. Instead of realizing that they know how to fly. So you're never going to hit the bottom because you know how to fly. There will be another branch for you to rest on, I promise you. I want us to decide today. Like, we're going to do this 2-day live training. I want you to commit to coming tomorrow for the strategy. But today, I want you to commit to deciding, like, this is it. This is my time. If you are waiting for God to give you a sign, because a lot of times we do that, we pray and pray and pray. And we're like, God, give me a sign. Give me a sign. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. This is your sign. This is your sign that it is time for you to fly, for you to stop waiting for the coast to be clear, the skies to be clear, for you to stop waiting for that fear to go away. It will never disappear. If you're waiting for a fear that you have to disappear, it's not happening. Let me just break that to you, sis. It's not freaking happening. What has to happen is you have to have the courage to walk through it. That's when you get on the other side of the fear. And you're like, oh, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But you can't get to that side until you walk through it. And you're not alone, right? This is why we have community. This is why we pay to get in certain rooms. This is why we have mentorships. This is why, we follow certain people because we want to be able to have that community and that support to push through to the next level. So I don't want you guys to go into 2025 still talking about I'm launching a business. It's time to launch. So if that is you, if anyone in here is like, I'm not launching my business, I need you to declare it in the chat, like, I'm launching my business. The wait is over. Like, you need to declare it and claim it now. And I'm waiting for you to type it out. Because this is the most impactful part. When you adopt the mindset, when you adopt the belief, when you're like, you know what, no matter what, I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. And it's probably so hard for you guys to type it in. Is there anyone that's like, it's so hard? It's like, why is she making me do this? Some of you are already new to me and like I'm always telling you to do something, like don't do it now. Yeah, it's scary, right? It is scary. But I promise you, the water is fine. Okay? The water is fine. Once you're in it, you're gonna be fine. I love it. Dominique, I will be consistent with my business and show up for myself. I'm launching my business, scared or not, period. There are people attached to you launching that business. There are people you are supposed to employ. There are families that are waiting for that income that you are going to provide. There are individuals that whatever service that you're about to offer, they need that service. They're attached to you and you're delaying them from getting to their next level because you're delaying yourself out of fear. This is way bigger than us, right? And so the first thing I want you guys to do is stop thinking about yourself. This is way bigger than you. This don't have nothing to do with you. God's just using you as a vessel. And you're going to reap the benefits of him using you if you allow him to, but you have to push forward. It's nothing to do with you. Honestly, that was the thing that did it for me when I was like, you know what, let me take me out of the equation. Let me just focus on who I'm about to serve. I'm focused on the people that need me, and I'm just going to show up for them. And that's about to fear the branch is breaking anymore. Those days are over. So day one, what are we doing? Identifying that we are the problem, but we're also the solution. We just identify, yes, we're the problem, but I am the solution. I'm launching my business. I'm scared and afraid to fail, but after reading your resources, I decided it was time, and it is. And it is. And it's going to be fine. And I want you, the moment that you just detach yourself from any expectations and just, do the steps. Like, I'm launching, okay. And the next thing, you're going to see wins. Nothing happens overnight. Some individuals will have success overnight or see immediate results, but it's slow and steady wins the race, right? If you are in this to change lives, if you're in this for generational wealth, if you're in this to have massive impact, if you're in this because you know that you were meant for more and you know that your name is supposed to ring bells, that's how I feel like my name needs to ring bells generations from now. Like I need my picture inside of the family estate, and I need little kids that I've never met and will never meet because I did died 100 years ago to be looking at that picture like, yeah, that's your great 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 grandma, and we have all of this because of her. I want that, right? So imagine thinking that far ahead, and that's something that eagles have is they have a vision. They are able to see so far ahead, and that's what I want you guys to focus on. Like write down your vision. This is the homework. One, I want you to write down your vision. Write down where you see yourself at. What is the impact that you want to have in the world? How do you want people to look at you? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? How many people do you want to help? For me, I want to personally help 10,000 minority women create generational wealth. When I tell certain people that, they're like, that's a big number. And I'm like, is it? I feel like it's small. Like that, like minimum, I want to help that amount of people. I want to help them rise so that they can help the next generation rise. So I want you to think like, where is my vision, right? Where do I really see myself? How far ahead are you looking? Because the farther ahead that you're looking, you can't look back. You definitely can't go forward and turn around. You're gonna have to keep pushing forward no matter what for this to work, for me to get to that other side. So I want you to get crystal clear on where you've been relying on the branch or waiting for calm skies. I want you to write down where you haven't been showing up in your business. And I want you to remember it's just not realizing that you've been the problem. It's about seeing that you have the power to be the solution. That's what it's really about. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about strategy, right? We're going to talk about strategy. I don't care if you feel like, hey, I know I need to launch a business, but I'm also not showing up in marketing, right? I'm also not selling. I post on social media, but it's not what I'm supposed to be posting. It's not helping my bank account, right? Because some of us we have the fear of judgment, and that fear of judgment is making us not post what we need to be posting on social media. We don't want people to know that we're doing anything. We don't want people in our business. But if we don't have any business if we're not launching or if we're not actually selling it. So I want you to identify like, where am I? And look at what you're fearing already that you haven't even done. Like there's fears that you're just thinking you're getting anxiety because you're like overthinking things. I want you to write those things down. Because once you're able to do that, once we write down those things, we identify where we're choosing comfort over growth and we're not showing up as our full capacity, that's when we can move forward. We have to become the type of individuals that are able to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. It's not an easy process. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If you're looking for it to be an easy process, it is not, but it's a rewarding one. We have all been through things and then we came on the other side of it and we was like, oh my God, now I understand why all that happened. I'm so thankful all of that happened. Put a one in the chat if you've ever been through something and you thought like it was the end of all things. And then, you know, 60 days after you got out of it, 2 months, and maybe the next day after you were out of it, you was like, oh my God, I see why this happened. This was for the best of me. Like, I'm so thankful. We go from thinking it's the devil, right? There's so many things that I was like, is this the devil? And then I turn around after I'm out of the storm and I'm like, God, that was you. That was you, Lord. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for closing that door. Thank you for letting all those things happen. Thank you for removing those people from my lives because I would be caught up in that. I would be caught up in this or doing that or doing. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful that you kept me and you saved me, even though I didn't even know what was going on. I wasn't even aware. I wasn't even aware. I thought it was the devil playing tricks on me. I thought he didn't want me to achieve certain things, right? So write those things out. And I want you all, when you write them down, be fully honest with yourself. Remember, we're taking full responsibility. We're being accountable. We're being self-aware. This is how we reach the next level. I know that society will make you feel like you just need strategy, 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 but it's not that. It's not that. This is not strategy doesn't get you to 100K months. Strategy alone doesn't get you to 50K months, 20K months. Strategy didn't get me to a 30K sales month 2 months ago. July, August. It didn't. It was it was mindset. It was the push to keep going despite all of the storms because just because you make money doesn't mean the storms stop. Life doesn't stop lifing because you decided to go do a business or because you decided you wanted to walk a certain path and you wanted to live in your purpose and you wanted to change. Life does not, it's like, let me ramp it up on you. It's going to ramp it up on you. It's going to test you. It's going to see how bad do you really want it? Are you really sure that you really want this or not? So now I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it up for you guys to unmute, right? We have 15 minutes. So if you have a question about mindset, right? So not strategy, because we're talking strategy tomorrow. If you have a question about mindset, then you can unmute and you can ask that. If you have a question about anything we discussed on here, or if you just want to share, if you want to share, if there's something that hit you, you had an aha moment, you feel like you want to share that with the group because it would help them, then you're able to unmute and you're able to share that. Just raise your hand so I know that you want to go. Let me stop sharing my screen. And before we do that, I want you guys to know tomorrow, day 2, we're going to be going over the 3 key strategies to blow up your Q4, right? How to maintain momentum while everyone else is slowing down and build massive success before the new year. Because I'm in communities, and when I tell you, I'm gonna stop saying I'm in communities because I'm up next. I'm literally on my way right now. But there's so many people that they're making 100K months, 300K months. Like they're at 100K days. And I'm like, I remember when I wanted 10K months and now it's 10K days, 20K days, 30K sales days, right? So now I'm like, I need to, the next level is I'm so close to hitting that next level. And I want you guys to come with me, right? I want us to rise together. Lakeisha, I see that you have your hand raised, love. So I want you to go ahead and unmute and share with us.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
So I recently had a few aha moments. Um, just like I said, I had been showing up for everybody else and not showing up for myself. So I was just putting growing my current business on the back burner, starting my new business on the back burner because I was trying to appease other people, make sure they were comfortable, make sure they were good. And it's like things for myself started falling apart. Like my confidence was going. I started being afraid of doing stuff that I wasn't afraid to do before.
Mhm.
And I just started feeling like I was moving backwards. Like all of the work I put in for my personal growth, it's like all of that, like everything was just moving backwards. And I was praying and talking to God a lot about a particular person and kind of just rationalizing some of the stuff this person was doing. And it was like, well, maybe if I do this, they'll be better. And it's like somebody just walked up beside me. And I promise y'all I am not crazy. But while I was praying and talking to God, it's like somebody just walked up beside me and just said saboteur while I was praying about this person. And I thought I was crazy. And I was like, nobody else is supposed to be in this building because I was actually out cleaning a building when this happened. So I turned around because it scared me. Like, nobody else supposed to be here. And I was like, okay, I'm probably just in my head. And I started talking to God again about this same person. And I heard it again a second time. The person I heard it, it was a man's voice, it's saboteur, and they said it louder the second time than the first time. And I was like, okay, God, I got to get this person out of my life. And I couldn't understand why this person would do the things they were doing, knowing it was having a negative impact on me and my business. Like, I take care of multiple households. So it crushed me to think that this person would do something to sabotage me when they're one of the closest people to me. This is somebody who knows me inside and out, somebody who is like family to me. They've been in my life for a very long time, and I just couldn't understand it. And then I was up again praying about my job when that God told me to leave. And God said, "This is not your job no more. I already told you that."
Mhm. And that's not the first time he said it because we didn't have that other
I know.
conversation. Mhm.
Like, so I had that hard conversation with my boss yesterday. And I just told her, I was like, this is what I'm feeling. This is why I'm like, this place is so negative. It's mentally draining. It's emotionally draining. And the extra money y'all paying don't make up for that.
Yeah.
Like, I make decent money. I make money that a lot of people would like to make. So it's not like I don't make money at this job, but it's taken such a mental toll to where I was up crying at 4:30 in the morning because I didn't want to go to work.
Yeah. All money's not good money.
Yeah, and I heard that too.
Yeah. It hits different when you're actually going through it though, right? When you're like, I know
Yeah,
I should be happy. People dream about reaching this level, but it just does it's not given that.
like I just got a promotion. My promotion caused other people not to even get raises this year. And I am miserable. I am miserable at this job. I am miserable around my team. And I just told her it's so toxic. And I was like, I'm just not going to be here much longer. So I started trying to bargain with God. You know how I like to do. And
Hmm.
and it wasn't working. I was like, well, God, if this, then I can leave.
Hmm.
Or if this happens, then I can go. And I heard something as plain as they said, don't worry about the money. I was like, okay, like that's easier said than done.
You gotta trust your wings. You gotta trust your wings, baby.
But every day started to feel worse and worse. I have not felt stressed out in a very long time. And I was stressed out all this week. And then when I saw, I'm like, I was like, I need a certain environment again. Then I saw that you launched the group, the program. I was like, I'm in there. I don't care how I'm gonna have to pay for it. Like I'm in there. This is what I need right now. And then
Yes.
other things just started falling in line. So for the last 10 days, almost every day, something has fallen in line. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to trust it. I need to just move, stop thinking, and just move.
Just
So
move.
when I saw that you was putting this today, I was like, dang, this last minute, but I'm in there. I'm gonna figure that out too. And I did everything I was supposed to do for homework for the program, and
Hmm.
then being in here, and I was like, God, this is right on time. This is what I needed. So thank you for you being obedient.
Absolutely. And thank you for you being obedient and showing up. And I love that this came full circle, right? Because I just said that someone is waiting for you to get to the next level. You were already moving, but imagine if I delayed this launch and waited till almost December when the new dates were for the conference. You would have been left in limbo, like with no support, and then this everything happened right. So this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. So when you guys are here, if you're here and you're like, I'm launching, you need to launch. You're seeing in real time that if I would have delayed, it would have immediately affected her. She was already moving along and trusting God. And so I had to do what God told me to do and trust him and still move despite of it. So I'm proud of you. I can't wait to see you on Sunday, tomorrow and Sunday. You about to have, I got you. Wait, I'm gonna see you tomorrow, Sunday in the morning, Sunday in the evening, and Monday, because we're
Come on.
launching a challenge. You're stuck with me.
I
Like
know.
you're about to be sick of me.
I needed it. And you'll give me that push I need. So I already know what to look forward to. I'm more mentally prepared for it this time.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. We have to evolve, right? So God needed all those things to happen to get you to this level where he's like, okay, she's ready. She's ready. Right on time. Everything happens in his timing. So you're never late. Dominique, I see you have your hand raised. You want to share?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Um, so I'm an introvert, and this is kind of weird for me because I'm one of those wallflowers. So, but I feel the
You
most high.
were, you not no more.
Yeah, I feel the most high is calling me to kind of just tell my testimony a little bit. I'll make it quick.
You don't
Um,
have to listen. We got 9 minutes, girl.
okay. So I was working for this hospital for 18 years. And during those 18 years, I've been really going through depression, anxiety. I developed those things during the 18 years I was there. Um, and I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I always doubted myself. I always had low esteem. Always thought that I couldn't do it. So I um I I saw this girl posting about virtual assistant. So I um I paid for her 101, and I never launched. I never launched my virtual assistant business. Then I found you with the call center. Um and I wanted to work under you, but I live in California. So I was like, okay, I can't do that. But I've been following you since you launched the call center business. I remember when I first saw you post, I was like, oh, I'm following her, and I'm on your email list and everything.
So
But
you've seen my whole journey.
I seen your whole journey. Yes, yes. So you've been a really big inspiration to me. So I got married. I took the leap of faith. I got married in Ghana in June.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so my husband is currently in Ghana. I'm still out here in the US. Um, in August, the Most High was like, I was like, okay, it's time for me to make a decision because I am tired. I'm stressed mentally. I feel like I'm slowly dying on the inside every day. And I had to make a decision. So I quit my job
Congratulations.
and I am packing up all my stuff and I'm moving to Ghana. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And the only way right now, I'm at the point where I have to bet on myself.
Hmm.
And that means I have to make sacrifices in ordering for me to be okay mentally, financially, just everything. Um, and this Zoom call was right on time because it catapulted me to say, just sit down with myself and say, what do you really want? And do you want it bad enough where you're going to actually do everything in your power to get it? Whether that's investing more, I definitely want to invest with you in your programs. I'm like, oh, I really want to invest in some of her programs, and I'm going to do it. Um it's just I have so much going on right now. I'm literally donating, selling, I literally had to make a crazy decision in ordering to get to the point where I'm like, okay, you have to put up or shut up.
Yep. And moving out of the country that's not an easy feat at
No,
all.
not at
It's a
all.
whole nother level of courage you got to tap into.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
But it's something that I am so at peace with. I had just had like lunch with my dad yesterday and I broke the news to him. He was sad, but he kept on reiterating, I am so proud of you. I am
Yes.
so proud of you. And that's just it's what I needed. It's what I needed from him. So yeah, I just want to thank you for hosting this Zoom. I'm gonna be consistent in my business. I do like what is it, digital products and virtual
Okay.
assistant. So I'm gonna start doing that. And I also am interested in your recruit and prosper program. I really want to do that because I really want to help those that um, are trying to find work and they can't find it. And I really want to be of assistance to them.
Yeah,
Yes.
do it. Listen, the program's not going anywhere, and definitely get in She Became Her, right? Because we're going
Yes.
to be talking about that whole time about just scaling businesses, especially online businesses, and leveraging social media. And no matter all my businesses that I do, I'm leveraging social media,
Oh,
right?
yes.
So if you don't even get the recruit place prosper yet, get in She Became Her, become
Okay.
a founding member, because that's going to help you with catapulting what you're already about to start, which is the virtual assistant and the digital products. And that'll fund everything else for you. You might
Oh,
get into it and be like, you know what? I think I'm good with this. I don't even need to add anything else on my plate. You never know,
oh,
right?
right, right.
So but either way, I'm telling you, the recruiting business, it's all about serving people, right? So it doesn't matter how you serve them, whether you're the virtual assistant and you catapult that business or you catapult the digital products, it's all about serving people and giving them the information and the services they need to get to their next level.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
Thank
I'm
you.
super proud of you too,
Thank you.
because you follow me, so you know I was on TikTok crying and everything moving to Thailand. It was a emotional roller coaster. It's like a
Yes.
high, low, high, low. But you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I encourage everybody to like leave the America for at least 3 months, 6 months, just to see the other side. Um, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of each of you for getting into this Zoom because it was last minute and God said you need to do that. He wouldn't let me continue with my weekend without doing this training. And you guys having the courage to come up and share your testimonies, share, how this came full circle with you. That also gives me confirmation that I'm on the right path and I'm listening, right? And I'm hearing him correctly and I'm moving accordingly. And so I want you guys to do the same thing for yourself because there's someone else attached to you doing what God is telling you to do. There's someone else attached to you being obedient and, going forward with courage. So I will see you all, same link tomorrow, 10 a.m. Get your pen and paper. We're going to be doing strategy, but also at the same time, make sure you do the homework. Let me just go back to the homework really quick so we can see it. We're writing down our vision, right? Where do we see ourselves? And then we're also going to write down where in our business we've been choosing comfort over growth, or where in our business we have a fear. And so we haven't even done it already. Like you didn't launch the business because you're scared to post on social media. You didn't launch the business because you're scared of success and like this is really going to take off and am I ready for it? Because sometimes it's fear of success, not necessarily fear of failure. So I want you guys to really get like down to the root of the problem and sit with yourself and figure out where am I not showing up at full capacity. And once you write that down, I want you to rewrite it with authority and say, I am going to do XYZ. I am on XYZ. I no longer have this fear. I am overcoming this fear actively, right? I want you to positively reinforce that to yourself, turning into an affirmation. Turn that fear into an affirmation because that is how we're going to overcome it and walk through it.